The first one is performance matrix and scalability analysis. Okay, how we are going to measure the performance related to distributed systems and how we have to scale the system. We are going to discuss here. The performance matrix we're first going to discuss how you will measure the performance of a system. Okay. The next one is dimensional scalability. How you will can increase the resources in the distributed systems. How you can scale the different resources like softwares, or it may be hardwares, or it may be a processors. How we can achieve that one, we're going to discuss in this. Let us go for the first one, performance matrix. Normally, guys, the performance measure will be with the help of the number of instructions executed per second, that we call them as a system throughput. Okay. For that, the different measures are MIPS, million instructions executed per second. Okay. If the system is having MIPS more value, then we can say that the system is performance wise good. If you take the three systems, first system is executing 25 million instructions per second. The second system is executing 75 million instructions per second. The third one is 50 million instructions per second. Then which one is the performance wise good? Which one is having the power to execute the more number of instructions? That one is the second one, 75 million instructions per second it is executing. Likewise, there are different matrices are also there. T-flop. This is also the floating point operations executed per second. The next one is TPS, transactions executed per second. These are all the metrics for performance. Okay. The system throughput can be measured with the help of these parameters: MIPS, T-flops, and TPS. The system is having these values very high, means the performance wise the system is having good, right? Okay, another factors is also there, guys, that is a job response time. For suppose if you have given a job for the system, okay, till you get the response from that system after completion of the job, that we call them as a job response time. Okay, the job response time is very less, means the system is having high performance. That is also one of the metrics. Response time means, okay, after giving the work, okay, till after completion of the work, and the result has to come from the system. Okay, the time duration between this one is, we call them as a response time. Okay, the next one is network latency, guys. Okay, this is a measure of time to send the data from the source to destination. How much amount of time it takes from the to send the data from the source to destination, we call them as a network latency. It is a time, okay, the duration of this time it takes to send the data from the source to destination, that we call as network latency. Okay, the system should have low network latency, then we can say that the performance wise the system is good. అంతేనా కాదా? మన సోర్స్ నుంచి డెస్టినేషన్కి డేటా పంపిస్తున్నప్పుడు తక్కువ టైంలో వెళ్ళిందంటే వీ కెన్ సే దట్ సిస్టమ్ ఈజ్ ఏ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ వైజ్ వెరీ గుడ్. ఓకే, అండ్ మోర్ ఓవర్ దట్ ఇట్ హ్యాస్ ఎ హై బ్యాండ్ విడ్త్, data transfer rate we call them. Okay, the network data transfer rate 10 mbps 15 mbps like that we will say. Okay, high the bandwidth means the more faster is the data transfer rate. That is also one of the performance metrics. The system is having high bandwidth means that we can say that it will transfer the data, more number of data per second. Okay, then also we will say that the system is having high performance. Okay. Coming to the second one, that is dimensional scalability. How we have to scale the system in the distributed system, how we can upgrade, how we can increase the size. Okay, here we have four types of scalabilities. That is one, size scalability, software scalability, application scalability, and technology scalability. Size scalability means increasing the processor capabilities or hardware. Okay, all these things will comes under size capabilities, like processor, hardware improvement, hardware increasing or decreasing will comes under size scalabilities. Software scalability means upgradation or installing the new softwares or adding the new libraries related to will comes under software scalabilities. Okay, application scalability. For suppose one software, one application is can take maximum of so much amount of data. For suppose the data is increased beyond that level, the application has to execute that data. Okay, here these things, this scalability application with the increasing of data set, how the application has to scale, that will comes under application scalability. Okay, with the increase in the data set, application has to handle that one, that will comes under application scalability. The next one is technology scalabilities. We are going to discuss each and everything. Okay, let us start the discussion with size scalability. Okay, here size scalability means increasing the machine size. Okay, with reference to adding a processor or caching memory or storage or IO channels. Okay, those all will comes under size. Okay, size scalability means increasing the processor or cache or memory or storage or IO channels. All comes under size scalability. The next one, for suppose guys, different system will have the different size scalabilities. For suppose if you take IBM S2, that can increase the scaling up to 512 processors. We can add 512 process maximum for that IBM S2. But coming to the another model of IBM system, that is IBM Blue Gen. Okay, for this one we can add up to 65,000 processors. Okay, so from system to system the scaling capacity is different. Okay, for all the systems it won't be a same thing, it won't be the same. If you observe S2 having, it can improve up to 512 processors. For the second one we can increase up to 65,000 processors. Okay, different system will have different size capabilities, different size scalabilities. Clear? The next one is software scalability. Okay, adding a new application to the software. Okay, or adding different libraries to that software, or upgrading the operating system or compiler, all will comes under software scalabilities. All will comes under software scalability. But all the systems won't will have this type of this software scalabilities. For example, some of the software upgrades may not work for the large system configurations. Okay, guys. For the large systems, some of the software updates may not be possible. Okay, this is related to software scalability. Software scalability, installing the new software, adding the libraries, upgrading the operating system, all this will comes under software scalabilities. Okay, ఇప్పుడు ఏదైనా సాఫ్ట్వేర్కి ఏదైనా అప్డేట్ వచ్చిందనుకోండి, అన్ని సిస్టమ్స్లో ఇన్స్టాల్ అవ్వడానికి కూడా ఛాన్స్ లేదు. ఫర్ సమ్ టైమ్స్ ఇఫ్ యూ చెక్ ద లాస్ట్ పాయింట్, okay, some of the software upgrades may not work for the large system configurations. Okay, ప్రీవియస్ వర్షన్కి వర్క్ అవ్వ ఉండొచ్చు, బట్ అప్డేటెడ్ వర్షన్కి వచ్చేప్పటికి వర్క్ అవ్వకపోవచ్చు కూడా. ఓకే, the next one is application scalability. Application scalability, మన ప్రాబ్లం సైజ్తో పాటు కూడా మిషన్ సైజ్ అనేది స్కేలబిలిటీ అవ్వాలండి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, మన ప్రాబ్లం అనేది పెరిగిపోతూ ఉంది, బట్ మన సిస్టమ్ యొక్క క్యాపబిలిటీ వచ్చేప్పటికి తక్కువగా ఉంటుంది. అప్పుడు ఏం జరుగుతుంది, సిస్టమ్ అనేది ప్రాసెస్ చేయకపోవచ్చు. ఓకే, మనం సైజ్తో పాటు కూడా, ఓకే, ప్రాబ్లం సైజ్తో పాటు కూడా దాని యొక్క సిస్టమ్ యొక్క క్యాపబిలిటీస్ కూడా ఇంక్రీజ్ అయ్యేట్టు చూసుకోవాలి ఇక్కడ మనం అప్లికేషన్ స్కేలబిలిటీ. Okay, matching the problem size of scalability with the machine size scalability. The data set is increasing. For suppose the system can handle some for example 1 GB of data set. Okay, the data set is increasing the beyond level also, it will make problems. Okay, here guys. Okay, let us go for the next scalability, the fourth one, the last one, that is technology scalability. Okay guys, nowadays different technologies are coming to picture. For suppose if you went for those technologies, means the problem will be easily solved. Okay, the system has to adapt those type of new technologies, like adding new networking technologies. With the help of these adding new networking technologies, if the problem is easier, means we have to go for those technologies. Okay, the system has to adapt those type of new technologies. Okay, in that way the distributed system has to be there, then the problem will be easily solved. This is the last type of scalability, adapting to the new technologies. Like if the new networking technology come into picture, if we went for that new network technologies, the internet speed is very fast and connectivity is also very fast, means we have to go for that one. We have to adapt those type of things also in the distributed systems. Okay, uh, let us discuss the second one. Okay, first one is performance, okay, and scalability. The second one is fault tolerance and system availability. Fault tolerance and system availability, this is also one of the metrics for distributed cloud systems. Okay guys, I will start with an example here. Okay, I am having one software company guys. I'm having one software company. Okay, 100 systems are there. I'm doing 2 or 3 projects. One day some earthquake came in my area, everything if I lost, means okay, that is a fault, that is a fault. How we have to overcome that situation to make our system available, that is the main thing we have to concentrate. For suppose, okay, I am maintaining the duplicate content of my all the servers that is there in my location at some other location, means whatever, if anything happened in the, if anything happened in my location, then all the clients will connect to the duplicate server. All the systems, all the users of that application will connect to that duplicate day. Then within a fraction of time, within a less amount of time, we are making our system available. We are making our system available. These type of metrics we have to follow. These type of metrics we have to follow. Okay, there are different measures for that one. One is a system with high availability. Okay, that will be dependent on long mean time to failure, long mean time to failure, and short mean time to repair. Long mean time to failure అండ్ షార్ట్ మీన్ టైమ్ టు రిపేరింగ్ టైం అనేది తక్కువగా ఉండాలి. అలాగే ఫెయిల్యూర్ వచ్చే టైం అది అనేది చాలా, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ 100 years ఒకసారి రావడం అలాగనమాట. టైం ఎక్కువ అనేది ఉండాలి, ఫెయిల్యూర్ రావడానికి ఎక్కువ టైం అనేది ఉండాలి. లాంగ్ మీన్ టైమ్ టు ఫెయిల్యూర్ రావడానికి ఛాన్స్ అనేది చాలా తక్కువగా ఉండాలి. అంటే ఇన్ ద డ్యూరేషన్ ఆఫ్, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ 10 years 15 years అలా అలా ఉండాలన్నమాట. అండ్ షార్ట్ మీన్ టైమ్ టు రిపేర్. ఓకే, వెన్ ఎవర్ ఎనీథింగ్ ఎనీ failure has occurred, okay, within a fraction of time, okay, the system has to be up, that will be available for the users. Okay, that we have to maintain. Okay, here the system availability, the main formula is described as follows, that is long mean time to failure by long mean time to failure plus short uh, mean time to repair, short mean time to repair. This is the formula guys, mttf by mttf plus mttr. This is the system availability, this is the system availability formula. ఓకే, ఎప్పుడైనా సరే ఫెయిల్యూర్ రావడం అనేది చాలా ఏళ్ళకు ఒకసారి వస్తుంది, దట్ ఈస్ ద మెయిన్ థింగ్. అందుకనే అది అప్ ఉంది, మిగిలిన వచ్చేపాటికి షార్ట్ డ్యూరేషన్ వచ్చేప్పటికి చాలా తక్కువగా ఉండాలి, అందుకని అది కింద ఉందన్నమాట. ఓకే, సిస్టమ్ అవైలబిలిటీ దట్ విల్ బి డిపెండ్స్ అపాన్ లాంగ్ మీన్ టైమ్ టు ఫెయిల్యూర్ రావడానికి చాలా ఎక్కువ సంవత్సరాలు ఉండాలి, అంటే 10 years 15 years అలా ఎక్కువ టైం ఉండాలి. అలాగే వెన్ ఎవర్ ఎనీ failure happens, okay, at that time to repair that situation that should be minimum, తక్కువ ఉండాలి. రిపేర్ ఈ రోజు మార్నింగ్ వచ్చింది అనుకోండి, మధ్యాహ్నం కల్లా మన సిస్టమ్ అనేది అప్లో ఉండాలి. అప్పుడు దెన్ వీ కెన్ సే దట్ ఓకే the system is highly available. How we will make that one, guys? We have to duplicate the content. For suppose if you went for the cloud, means that will be taken care by cloud provider. If anything happen in the your location, means the content is not at your location, right? That will be there in the cloud, means whenever any situation is happened, nothing will be happen to your data. Nothing will be happened for your data. Okay, right? Here the single point failure means, okay, any failure that will pull down your operation of entire system, means stopping your operations on the system, that we call them as a single point failure. Anything happen, that will be hardware failure or software failure, any failure happen, that we call them as single point failure, guys. That we call them as a single point failure. ఒక ఫెయిల్యూర్ తోటి మొత్తం అంతా సిస్టమ్ అనేది వర్కింగ్ అవ్వకపోవడానికి దాన్ని ఏమంటాం, సింగిల్ పాయింట్ ఫెయిల్యూర్ అంటాం. ఓకే, ద ఓవరాల్ సిస్టమ్ ఆపరేషన్ విల్ బి పుల్ డౌన్. అలా మనం ఉంచుకోకూడదు ఎప్పుడు కూడా. ఓకే, వెన్ ఎవర్ ఎనీ ఫెయిల్యూర్ హ్యాపెన్స్, బట్ హ్యాస్ టు బి కనెక్టెడ్ టు ద అనదర్ డూప్లికేట్ సర్వర్ ఇన్ ద డిఫరెంట్ లొకేషన్. ఫాల్ట్ టాలరెన్స్ అండ్ సిస్టమ్ అవైలబిలిటీ. Okay, fine. I will go for the next slide. The third one, that is networking threats and data integrity. Normally, guys, different users are attacking the different systems. Okay, with the help of different malwares and viruses, they are attacking our systems. With the help of these occurrences, okay, our routers, our systems, okay, may not work with the help of these malwares. With the help of these malwares, okay, our systems, our router, hardware parts, our servers won't work. Okay, because of this one, we are losing $1 billion business. Okay, and our services also. We have to control these type of threats. That is done by with the help of different viruses and malwares. Let us go for the next slide. Okay, this is the summary of different types of attacks. Okay, how the potential damage to the users. Denial of services means internet problem, because of the internet problem. Okay, those things will come under denial of services. Okay, integrity means data completeness, data accuracy. That may be because of human errors also, or from the outsiders also. That will also come under integrity violation. Let us go for these things in the next slides. Okay, write down this one, guys. Mohan Sai, tell me after completion of writing this one. Let us discuss these things. Okay, different types of attacks on distributed systems and cloud systems. Okay, in that one is loss of data integrity, guys. In the loss of data integrity, for suppose if any attack has happened, okay, the data inside that one, we lost the accuracy in the data, and completeness of the data also we lost because of the different alterations done with the help of that viruses, or those alternation can be done by users also. We lost the data information, that is integrity of that data we lost it. Like we lost the accuracy, or we lost the accuracy, completeness of the data with the help of these attacks. Those attacks may be like a Trojan horse. It's a, like a virus related thing, malware. Okay, or it may be service spoofing attacks. Because of this one, okay, we lost the data integrity. That means we lost the accuracy or completeness of the data. That is because of this user alteration. Okay, or అది వాళ్ళ అనుకునే కానీ అనుకోకుండా కానీ ఏదైనా చేంజెస్ చేస్తే కనుక we lost the completeness or accuracy of the data, or the with the help of this Trojan attacks also we lost the accuracy and completeness with the help of different malwares, or with the help of service spoofing attacks also we lost the completeness and uh, accuracy of the data. What is this service spoofing attack means? That is also one of the type of malware. Okay, like what they will do is with the help of internet, okay, they will attack the host. Means for suppose I am the host, with the help of internet and internet networking capabilities, they are going to attack me on my system, and they will steal the data that is there in my system. That we call them as spoofing attacks. With the help of internet, attack are done on host, stole the data and spread the malware. Malware means virus. Okay. The next one is denial of services. This is because of the internet connection issues. We lost the system operations, and with the help of internet connection also we lost the those things will come under denial of services, DVoice. Let us go for the next slide. The last one, that is energy efficiency in the distributed computing. Okay, how we can save the energy? Okay, how we can operate the distributed system with a less energy? That is the concern here, guys. Okay, Okay, before going to discuss this one, guys, how we can save the energy. For suppose one server is there, guys. Okay, that performance is 100%. Okay, uh, different users are accessing that one. For suppose in our lab, IT lab, first second year guys also accessing the server, third year guys also accessing the server, and fourth year guys also accessing the server. Okay, here for second year one server is there, third year one server is there, final year one server is there. Okay, each year, okay, for suppose second year using the server only 25%, third year using the server for 30%, fourth year again using the server, another server. Okay, three different servers for each year. Third year they are using the server for 30%. Overall, for suppose second year 25%, third year 30%, fourth year 30%, 60 plus 25 and 85. Okay, and each and every server, for first server we are second year guys are only utilizing 25%, means the remaining 75% is wasted, energy is wasted. Okay, capabilities are wasted. For the third years they are utilizing the server for 30%, the remaining 70% is wasted for about that second server. Okay, for the final years using the another server, okay, they are using the server for 30% working. Okay, means again 70% is wasted. Okay, with the help of this new feature called cloud computing, with the help of virtualization, guys, okay, we will take only one server now. Okay, on the top of that one we will virtualize that one into three more servers. We are virtualizing that server into three more servers. Okay, on the top of the physical server I am having three more virtual servers. Okay, one virtual server is used by second years, and one virtual server is used by third years, and another virtualization server is used by final years, guys. Okay, overall what is the percentage? 25, 30, 30. Overall 85%. Okay, now I have saved the energy of two servers, and the money also I have saved. The money also I have saved. For suppose each and every server cost is 20 lakhs, for suppose 40 lakhs I have saved with the help of this virtualization capabilities. Okay, I am achieving the 85% capabilities. Previously, okay, I have separate your servers, means only 25% for the second first server, for third years only 30%, and fourth year only 30%, different servers. Now I have used virtualization capabilities. Okay, I have done virtualization on the top of the physical server. I have made three virtual servers. One is I have given for the second years, one I have given for the third years, and I have given for the fourth year. Now only one server is there, but three virtual servers are there. Means I can purchase only one physical server, that is 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs. I have saved the 40 lakhs. In this way, we can save the energy with the help of cloud computing or virtualization, guys. Different techniques are there here. Okay, like the resource outsourcing, that is also comes under cloud computing. What we will go, if you want any resources, we will rent those resources from the cloud. Okay, just on demand basis we are utilizing the clouds. Whenever we need the cloud services or resources, we are going for that one. After completion of the work with the resources, I am releasing the resources. In this way I am saving the energy. Okay, and workload is also we can outsource. We can give our work for the outsourcing also. That way also we will save the energy effectively in distributed cloud computing systems. Let us go for the last slide of the first unit. Okay. Okay, guys. Here, the normal scenario they have explained, guys. Energy consumption unused servers. 1/6 of the servers are unused full time. Okay, without being actively used. ఓకే, మనం వచ్చేపాటికి ఓన్లీ ఒక 1/6 ఆఫ్ ది పార్ట్ మాత్రమే సర్వర్స్ని మనం యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకుంటున్నాం. ఓకే, 5/6 పార్ట్ అనేది యూజ్ చేసుకోవట్లేదని చెప్తున్నారు. దాని గురించి వచ్చేపాటికి నేను చెప్పిన క్లౌడ్ కంప్యూటింగ్ ప్రాసెస్ కానీ గోయింగ్ ఫర్ ద అవుట్ రిసోర్సెస్ ద్వారా మనం సర్వర్స్ని బాగా యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఓకే, అండ్ ద నెక్స్ట్ వన్ ఈజ్ reducing the energy in the active servers. Reducing the energy in the active servers. మనం వచ్చేపటికి ఏ విధంగా డిక్రీజ్ ద ఎనర్జీ కన్జంప్షన్ ఇన్ ద డిస్ట్రిబ్యూటెడ్ సిస్టమ్స్ అనేది చూస్తాం దీంట్లో. అప్లయింగ్ అప్రోప్రియేట్ టెక్నిక్స్ టు డిక్రీజ్ ద ఎనర్జీ కన్జంప్షన్ ఇన్ ద డిస్ట్రిబ్యూటెడ్ సిస్టమ్స్. ఫస్ట్ వన్ వచ్చేపటికి energy consumption in the unused servers. The second one is reducing the energy in the active servers. ఓకే, మనం ఫస్ట్ వచ్చేప్పటికి అన్యూజ్డ్ సర్వర్స్ని తగ్గించుకోవాలి. అలాగే యూజ్ చేసే యాక్టివ్ సర్వర్స్లో ఓకే ఎనర్జీ అనేది తక్కువగా అది యూజ్ చేసుకున్నట్టు చూసుకోవాలి. ఇట్ హ్యాస్ టు టేక్ ద లోవర్ పవర్ లైక్ దట్. వీ హ్యావ్ టు యూస్ ద డిఫరెంట్ టెక్నిక్స్ టు రెడ్యూస్ ద ఎనర్జీ కన్జంప్షన్, పవర్ తక్కువ తీసుకునేట్టు. Like the best example previously వచ్చేపటికి in our IT lab 3 servers, 3 power consumptions. With the help of virtualization, only one server means power consumption for the servers also reduced. That is for only one server. Previously 3 servers without help of cloud computing. With the help of the cloud computing, only one server is enough. Energy is also saved. Okay. Previously, for suppose first system 75% energy is wasted. Second system 70%. Third system 70, 70, 70, 75 means 215. దాంత పర్సంటేజ్ అనేది 2 సర్వర్ల కంటే ఇంకా ఎక్కువ వర్క్ అనేది ఎనర్జీ అనేది వేస్ట్ అయిపోతుంది ప్రీవియస్గా. బట్ విత్ ద హెల్ప్ ఆఫ్ క్లౌడ్ కంప్యూటింగ్ ఐ వెంట్ ఫర్ ఓన్లీ వన్ సర్వర్. ఓకే, వన్ సర్వర్ ఈజ్ యూటిలైజ్డ్ ఫర్ ద ఆల్ ది వర్క్. That is 25% work from the first year, 30% work from the second year, 30% work from the second year. Only 15% overall కలిపితే ఎంత వచ్చింది 85%. Only 55% energy is wasted. Okay, energy is wasted for that particular server. Okay, in this way we will increase the efficiency of the servers, as well as we will reduce the power consumption for the servers also with the help of cloud. Okay, till now the first unit is completed, guys. Okay, Monday onwards we will go for the second unit discussion, that is virtualization. Okay, these are the next I will show the different short answers and long answers in the first units. These are the different short answer questions in the first unit. Okay, do that quiz, guys, by today ending. Okay, from tomorrow onwards that quiz won't be available for you. Just 5 minutes. If anyone not joined in the Edmido, just join. Only 5% has to join. Okay, 90 are already joined in the Edmodo group for the cloud computing. Okay, Okay, guys, I will go for the long answer questions. Guys, anyone having any doubt in the any topic? Just tell me. Anyone is having any doubt in any topic? Just tell me. మోహన్ సాయి అర్థమవుతున్నారా?
సార్
27 వచ్చారా? వెళ్ళిపోయారా?
27 is present, sir.
ఉన్నాడు సార్.